Let me tell you the biggest lie in fast food history. Ray Kroc did not invent McDonald's. He did not invent the hamburger or the French fry. In 1954, Ray Kroc was 52, a failed salesman driving across the Midwest, selling unwanted multi-spindle milkshake machines. He had tried and failed at paper cups, piano lessons, and almost every business he touched. He lived out of his car half the time, listening to self-help records just to keep going. Then one day, he got an impossible order. A small California hamburger stand ordered 8 of his machines. Most restaurants ordered one. This stand needed to make 40 milkshakes at once. Ray did not believe it. He drove 2,000 miles across the country to see for himself. If it were you, 52, tired, ignored, and almost out of chances, would you still drive across the country for one strange order? You have to understand what it feels like to be 52 and starting over. Most people your age are planning retirement. They have houses, kids, savings. Ray had none of that. He had a wife tired of his failures, creditors calling daily, and a product no one needed. Every day, he walked into restaurants and got thrown out. Every day, he heard, "We do not need your stupid milkshake machines." He was not a genius. He was just a man beaten down by 30 years of failure, desperate for one last shot. He did not build McDonald's because he was brilliant. He built it because he had nothing left to lose. If this order was a mistake, he had nothing else to go back to. The clock was ticking. He was running out of time. When Ray pulled into that parking lot, he thought he had made the biggest mistake of his life. It was just a small white building with 2 golden arches. No waitresses, no tables inside, just a window and a line around the block. Then he watched. A woman ordered a hamburger, fries, and a milkshake, and walked away 30 seconds later. In 1954, the average restaurant took 15 minutes to serve a meal. This little stand served a complete meal in the time it took most restaurants to write down your order. Ray stood there for an hour, watching employees move like clockwork. No wasted motion, no mistakes. And then he realized this was not a hamburger stand. This was a machine. And that machine was worth more than all the milkshake machines he had ever sold. What Ray saw that day was not just a busy restaurant. It was a revolution. Before the McDonald brothers, fast food did not exist. Diners and drive-ins were slow, inconsistent, and expensive. You waited 20 minutes for a hamburger that tasted different every time. Mac and Dick McDonald had run a drive-in for years, tired of high turnover, slow service, and low-spending customers. So in 1948, they did something crazy. They closed their profitable restaurant, fired all their car hops, and cut their menu from 25 items down to just 9. Then they rebuilt everything from scratch. They did not just change the menu, they changed the entire way food was made. And what they created would change the world. The McDonald brothers wanted to make food the same way, every single time, as fast as possible. So they went to a tennis court, drew the entire kitchen floor plan on the asphalt with chalk, and had their employees pretend to make hamburgers. They did this for hours, adjusting every step, every turn, every distance, until there was no wasted motion left. When they were done, they had created the first food assembly line. Each employee had one job only: grill burgers, add toppings, wrap, make fries, make milkshakes. No one helped anyone else. Everyone just did their one job, over and over. They called it the speedy service system. It worked. They could serve a complete meal in 30 seconds, and every single meal tasted exactly the same. That was the miracle. Not the speed, but the consistency. Most people saw a great place to get a cheap, fast hamburger. Ray saw something else. This system could be copied. Not just one more restaurant, but thousands, millions. In every single town in America, he saw that you could standardize everything. The size of the burger, the amount of ketchup, the temperature of the fryer. You could train anyone to do this job. You did not need a chef. You just needed to follow the rules. Most people saw lunch. Ray saw a machine, and he knew that whoever controlled that machine would control the future of food. If it were you, standing in that parking lot, would you see a good restaurant or the beginning of an empire? Ray went to the McDonald brothers and offered to be their exclusive franchise agent, spreading their system across the United States. The brothers were hesitant. They did not want to sacrifice quality for quantity, but eventually, they agreed. Then Ray had his second great insight. It was not just the kitchen that could be copied. It was the sign. The golden arches were not just decoration. In the age of the automobile, people needed something they could recognize from a mile away. They were bright, unique, impossible to miss. A A sign is not decoration when it can pull a car off the highway. Ray knew that if he could put those golden arches in every town, he would not just have a chain of restaurants, he would have a religion. The contract Ray signed would haunt him for 10 years. It was terrible. The brothers kept all rights to the system, had final say over every change, and Ray got only 1.9% of gross sales from each franchise. He could not change anything without their written approval. At first, this did not seem like a problem. Ray agreed that quality was everything, but as franchises grew, conflict became inevitable. The brothers wanted to keep the system perfect. Ray wanted to scale. He wanted to open thousands of restaurants, even if it meant sacrificing a little quality. This was not good versus evil. This was two different business visions. The brothers wanted to build the perfect store. Ray wanted to build 1 million stores that were almost perfect. In the end, only one could win. Ray's first big mistake was choosing the wrong franchisees. He started by selling to rich people, thinking they would be good operators. He was wrong. Rich investors did not care about the system or quality. They just wanted to make money. They added items to the menu, raised prices, cut corners, and let restaurants get dirty. Ray was horrified. He realized that the greatest enemy of standardization was not slowness. It was inconsistency. If one McDonald's served bad food, people would stop going to all of them. The entire brand was only as strong as its weakest link. If it were you, would you choose rich investors who ignore the rules, or hungry operators who will guard the system with their own hands? Ray changed his strategy. He stopped selling to rich people and started selling to ordinary, hardworking people who had never owned a business before, and it worked. These people had everything to lose, so they guarded the system with their lives. Ray realized something profound. Standardization is not boring. Standardization is power. It is the power to turn a skill that used to take years to learn into a job anyone can master in a week. It is the power to give customers exactly what they expect every single time, anywhere in the world. It is the power to scale. One store makes money. A repeatable system makes history. By 1960, Ray had opened more than 200 McDonald's across the United States. But there was one big problem. He was still broke. Ray had a problem almost no one talks about. He was opening more restaurants every month. The brand was becoming famous, but he was losing money on every single one. The 1.9% royalty was not enough to cover all his company's costs, and the McDonald brothers refused to renegotiate. They said Ray had signed the deal and had to live with it. Ray was desperate. He was mortgaging his house, borrowing money from anyone who would lend it to him. He was one bad month away from losing everything. The empire was growing on paper, but Ray was suffocating in the numbers. He had built a machine that could make millions of hamburgers, but not a machine that could make money. Then, a man named Harry Sunborn walked into his office, and he changed everything. Harry was a finance guy. He did not care about hamburgers. He cared about numbers. And when he looked at Ray's business, he saw something no one else had seen. He said, "Ray, you are not in the hamburger business. You are in the real estate business." At first, Ray did not understand. Harry explained, "The hamburger has almost no profit margin. The land is where the real money is." Right now, franchisees buy or lease their own land, which means they control the store. Ray should create a separate company that buys all the land, then leases it to franchisees at a markup. This would give him steady income and total control. If a franchisee broke the rules, Ray could evict them. It was brilliant, and it was ruthless. The hamburger made people line up. The land made Ray Kroc powerful. Ray created Franchise Realty Corporation. Overnight, everything changed. He started buying up the best fast food locations across the United States, building McDonald's restaurants on them, and leasing them to franchisees. Franchisees paid rent every month, plus the 1.9% royalty. Suddenly, Ray was making money. But more importantly, he had control. Now, if a franchisee broke the rules, Ray could terminate their lease, and they would lose everything. The brothers built the kitchen. Harry revealed the land. Ray connected them into a machine, and that machine was unstoppable. By 1965, there were more than 700 McDonald's in the United States. Ray was no longer a failed salesman. He was the most powerful man in fast food, but there was still one thing standing in his way. The McDonald brothers. While Ray was building his real estate empire, Burger King emerged as a new competitor. They used open flame grills and had the Whopper, a bigger, more distinctive hamburger. Suddenly, McDonald's was under attack. Ray had always believed in a simple menu, but he had no choice. The system had to evolve, and that is when he discovered another secret about standardization. A weak system kills new ideas. A strong system tests them, filters them, and then copies them everywhere. The fallout of fish was invented by a franchisee for Catholic customers who could not eat meat on Fridays. Ray tested it, then rolled it out nationwide. The Big Mac was invented as a response to the Whopper. Ray tested it, then rolled it out nationwide. The system was no longer just a machine for making hamburgers. It was a machine for making and copying innovation. If it were you, would you freeze the system to protect it, or risk changing it before your rivals take the future? By 1961, Ray had had enough. He was tired of the brothers controlling his company, tired of asking for permission to make changes, tired of giving them 0.5% of all gross sales forever. So he made them an offer, $2.7 million to buy them out. The brothers agreed, but they wanted a 1% royalty on all future sales, in perpetuity. Ray said yes, but insisted it would be a handshake agreement, not written into the contract. The brothers trusted him. They signed, took the money, and walked away. Ray never paid them the 1%. He said there was no written agreement. Many people see this as a legal takeover, a ruthless business move, a controversial handshake that changed fast food history. On paper, Ray won. In history, the question never fully disappeared. Ray could have changed the company's name to Croc's or Ray's, but he did not, because he knew that the name McDonald's was part of the machine. It sounded like a family name, friendly, trustworthy. If he had changed it, he would have lost all the goodwill the brothers had built. The system copied the food. The name copied the feeling. Ray also knew that if he controlled the name, he controlled the history. So he started telling the story of McDonald's as if it had started with him in 1955. He rarely mentioned the McDonald brothers. Over time, most people forgot they ever existed. Mac McDonald died in 1971. Dick McDonald died in 1998. They never got the 1% royalty Ray had promised them. If they had, it would have been worth billions of dollars by the time they died. But they died knowing that the company they had created, the revolution they had started, was now known to the world as Ray Kroc's company. That is the dark side of the system. The system does not care who invented it. It only cares about growing. It will take the best ideas, copy them, scale them, and then erase the people who created them. Ray did not steal McDonald's. He saw the potential in a system the brothers had built, but did not want to grow. He turned it into the most successful business in history. But he also left a shadow that still hangs over McDonald's today. So, what is the lesson of Ray Kroc and McDonald's? The real power in business is not in the product. It is in the system. Anyone can make a good hamburger. Almost no one can build a system that makes 1 billion good hamburgers, exactly the same, every single day, all over the world. But there is another lesson. A system that only cares about growth will eventually eat everything in its path. It will eat the founders, the workers, the quality, even the truth. And that is the choice every entrepreneur has to make. This is your final choice. What do? Do you build a perfect store that makes you and your family happy, but never grows beyond your town? Or do you build a system that changes the world, but leaves a trail of broken promises and forgotten people in its wake? Drop your choice in the comments. Would you rather own the perfect store or build the imperfect empire?